Good morning to one and all. Welcome back to Online Education Channel by BMC. This is Vaishnavi from Survey MPS. Today we are going to deal with part of environmental management, and that's about disasters. Now, basically, let us understand what do you mean by disasters. Any sudden event which can cause great damage or devastation is known as disaster. It is the occurrence which causes damage, not a damage, but economic distraction, loss of human life, deterioration of health service on a scale sufficient for an extraordinary response from outside the affected community or area. Now, what do you mean by this? See, if we relate it with the current situation, that is pandemic of corona, it is a big disaster. Since last 1.5 years, we all are trapped in our house. Schools are closed. Companies are closed. Many of them are doing work from home. Many of them have lost their jobs. Okay. So there is a big economic setback for those who have lost their businesses or who have lost their jobs. Many lakhs of people have lost their life till now. Okay, and many are suffering from different types of health disorders. In the second wave of corona, we have seen the deterioration of health service, where there was shortage of oxygen supply, there was shortage of beds in hospital, even though having the immense medical facilities, there was shortage of medical facilities because lakhs of people were getting affected or getting positive because of like COVID positive. Okay. So there was a pressure on the health services too. So any such event which causes economic distraction, that means economic loss, then damage. Like, see, now if we talk about damage, here we can give the example of floods. Now, recently, we have faced the floods in Maharashtra, in Kolhapur, Chikloon, even in Mumbai, many of the areas were waterlogged. There were landslides. We have heard in the news about the Bhandup society where there was landslides and the houses were broken because of it. Okay. So there was a huge damage of property, of life, deterioration of health service because of this situations arising timely. So all these things are known as disasters. See, now consider like what is called as disaster. A natural disaster is considered as an event with one of the following. Either 10 or more human fatalities. Now fatalities means death. When any event causes death of more than 10 people, it is called as disaster. Hundreds of people are affected. Like we all know, in this situation of pandemic of corona, lakhs of people throughout the world, they are affected because of this. So this is a disaster. A state of emergency is declared. We all are under lockdown, right? There were police roaming around. So to see that people stay at home, they don't come out, they wear the mask, they carry the activities like you maintaining the distance, social distancing, and sanitizing the hands and all. Okay. So state of emergency is declared and international assistance is sought. Now, what is international assistance? You must all have heard in the news in this situation of corona, as there are shortages of the medical facilities or the medical equipments. They are exported and imported from different countries. Okay. Then we all know known as international assistance. Okay, so all these things are carried out. All such situations are known as disasters. See, here are few of the examples of disasters. In our today's lecture, we are going to focus on how to manage such situation, what to do when such situation arises. To give certain examples of disasters, see, there are thunderbolt attacks, like the lightning strikes. Even due to lightning strike, many of the people, they lose their life. Properties get damaged because of lightning strike. There are conditions of floods where everything is washed out, as you can see in this picture. Cyclones, for example, Takute and Nisarga cyclone that we have faced since last year. Then forest fires due to a heat wave or the increasing temperature. There are set of forest fire in the environment. Now, these are the examples of natural disasters. There are also some activities which are carried out by humans, which results into disasters, that is, which cause damage to the properties and also to the life of people. To sort some example of this, there are bomb blast. We have experienced even in Mumbai, the bomb blast, where the property was damaged and lot of people have lost their life. Then there are riots carried out whenever there is clash between the decisions of a particular group. There, the situation of rights occur, because of which also many of the people loses their life. So basically, if we classify the disaster, it can be classified into majorly into two types, that is natural disasters and man-made disasters. And the third category is other disasters. In natural disasters, we have two types, major and minor. Now, when we talk about major disaster, there is great damage that is caused. Like say, when there is earthquake, the buildings and buildings collapse, the roads cracks out. Okay, so then floods, it washes away majority of the thing. It causes great loss to the life and property of the people. When we talk about droughts and cyclones, okay, now because of droughts, we all know that people lose life because of lack of food, availability of water, and also the agricultural production is hampered. Again, there is shortage of food, which causes to increase in the rate of the agricultural products. So this is how the major disasters affect. Then there are certain minor natural disasters. Now, what is this? They are heat waves. That is due to rise in temperature, especially during the summer season. There is temperature rise up to 40 to 43 or 44 degrees Celsius, which is very, very intolerable by the human or the living organism. So that condition is known as heat wave. Then you have cold wave during winter season. Now this doesn't affect here to us, but yes, in the temperate areas, the cold wave affects a lot. Then there are landslides, avalanches, tornadoes, and hailstone storm. When we talk about man-made disasters, now this includes communals, riots, ethnic conflicts, refugees, terrorism, war, economic scandals, and mismanagement. All these are included in man-made disasters. Okay, anything of this. See, whenever there are riots or conflicts or terrorist attacks or war, many of the people lose their life, properties are damaged. Okay. When there are economic scandals or mismanagement, there is a great setback, economic setback, where people lose their money. And you all know, whenever people lose their money, everything goes to trash. Okay. Then if we talk about other disasters, there are epidemics. Epidemics is when only a particular area is affected. Say for example, if there is cholera epidemic in Maharashtra, so Maharashtra or even a small part of Maharashtra is affected, then that is called as epidemic. When we call it as pandemic, when many of the countries are affected, more than two countries are affected by a particular disease, then it is called as pandemic. Then there are industrial accidents, like bursting of the chemical plant, or as we have seen recently, there was leakage of oxygen gas in the hospitals, in some of the hospitals. Okay, so these are the examples of industrial accidents. Then a fire, sometime the cylinders blast, or due to a minute mistake, there is a big fire. Okay, policy conflicts, whenever there are certain policies make which are not acceptable by majority of the people, they stand up against that policy. Okay, so all these things come under the other disasters. When we talk about the minor disasters, there are like transport accidents, festival pilgrimage related, then food poisoning, liquor tragedy, technological disasters. These are the minor disasters. Then now we come to the actual topic, and that is disaster management. What is disaster management? Disaster management is action implemented through proper planning, organized activity, and coordination. Okay. It includes prevention of losses and danger, improving tolerance, providing relief from disaster, minimizing the intensity and extent of harm, preparation to face the disaster, immediate action in disaster situation, assessment of damage and intensity of the disaster, arranging for rescue work and help, rehabilitation and rebuilding. Now, what is this? See, when we talk about proper planning, we have meteorological departments which on timely basis keep on warning, keep on updating us about the upcoming climate change, or the upcoming uh, disasters that would happen. Say for example, heavy rain. We always get the forecast that from, say, from 22nd July to 27th July, there will be heavy rains. Okay, we get this type of forecast. When there was cyclone, the meteorological department has warned us prior that the air pressure is changing, because of which particular cyclone is going to happen. They name the cyclone, and they warn, and they keep give the guidelines for the people in general, which need to be followed so that laws of life can be achieved. Okay, now, so that is known. If we are aware on the prior basis about any kind of disasters, we can think of organized activity. Now, what is that organized activity? See, we all hear the guidelines: stay at home. If I talk about the present situation, that is corona, timely basis, the health ministry as well as the World Health Organization or the other organization, they are continuously awareing all the public about wearing masks, maintaining the social distancing, sanitizing the house, sanitizing the hand washing, having bath after coming from out, not to roam outside. Okay, so we are continuously getting the guidelines. Now, why are these guidelines provided? It is because to prevent the loss and danger. Why? Because government want that the less people should be affected or no people should be affected because of this disease, and that is why we are asked to stay at home, right? We are asked to sanitize or maintain the social distance. So that is prevention of loss and danger. We know if we roam out, if majority of the public is out and they are gathering regularly without mask or without maintaining social distance, the number of the cases would increase. Already we are our health services are under stress because of the pandemic situation. If the public do not follow the guidelines provided by the health ministry, then there will be a great disaster where there will be no beds in the hospitals to treat the people, and more people will die. So there is a proper organization for all this, because of which we are asked to stay at home. Okay, then improving tolerance. If we remember, when this pandemic situation was going to arise, there was the government was trying to improve the tolerance. Now, how the tolerance would improve? See, government has provided the food free for the people below the poverty line. Okay, whatever the grains that you get in ration, it was provided for free for more than 6 months. Then uh, hospital centers were made ready so that more and more people can be quarantined. Okay, so quarantine centers were made ready. Then now again vaccines are provided by the government so that the tolerance for the coronavirus can be increased. So this is how, by planning, the improvement of tolerance is done. Okay, now if we talk about providing relief from disaster or minimizing the intensity or extent of the harm. For this, now whenever the prior predictions about any disasters are done, the government body at that particular area, they have certain action plan. If we consider about these cyclones, the first thing that is done whenever the prediction of cyclones or the floods are done, or say for example if tsunami, we have the prior prediction about the tsunami, the area where that particular disaster is going to happen, it is evacuated. Now what is evacuation? The people in that area are moved to the safer places. Now see, property cannot be moved because it is fixed, but if even the people are moved, the damage that is caused to the life will be reduced. Okay, and after all, if there is life, we can make the property again. So that is how the minimization of the intensity and extent can be done. Then uh, these are the immediate actions during the disaster situation. People are asked to stay at home, stay at the safer places, and regarding the whatever disaster is going to happen, guidelines of what actually needs to be done is provided to the people regularly on news channels or on the radio, on the mass medias, in the way that is possible. Banners are put, posters are displayed. Okay, even government sends the announcer who keeps on announcing in particular area what actually actions are needed to do to prevent oneself from getting affected by the particular disasters. Now, in many cases, there are certain disasters which are not predicted. Okay, they are unpredicted disasters. No one know that this is going to happen. In that cases, see, for example, if we talk about bomb blast, no one knows that the bomb blast is going to happen. If we know, we will not go in that particular area, right? Or even if the police is having any idea about the bomb blast, they try and they disconnect the bombs so that the blast won't happen. So whenever there are predictions, whenever they have particular idea, they are trying that no damage to the people is caused. But there are certain situations which no one has idea and that disaster happens. So in that case also government comes in action. Not only government, but also there are many NGOs or the people who believe in social work. They come in front and they help the disaster affected individual as early as possible and in the way it is possible. Okay. So like see, when there were floods, the clothes or the food items were given to the people of Kolhapur during the floods. Okay. Then uh, if we talk about rehabilitation, government also gives incentives. For example, now when there was recent uh, landslides, okay, landslides in the Bhandup area, government has announced the amount of 2 lakh rupees for the victims, for those who have suffered from the loss. Okay, whenever there are train accidents, even that time also, if the person is not in the fault, if it is the fault of the particular organization, then the intensive is offered by the government. Okay, so all these things are done under disaster management. Many times government also provide the housing facilities for those who have lost their house. That is known as rehabilitation. And again, whatever structure is destroyed, that structure is rebuilt and constructed again. So that is rebuilding. All this comes under disaster management. Now, whenever there are any disasters, there is damage or there are death. So there are certain principles or the objectives under which the first aid to disaster victims are provided. Now, there are three main objectives behind behind providing first aid to the disaster victims, and that is prevention of death, preventing deterioration of health, and starting the process of rehabilitation. Okay, now see, whenever the disaster is predicted, the people are moved to the safer places. Why? For prevention of death. Now, in the situation of this pandemic corona, we are asked to stay at home to maintain social distancing. Why? So that prevention of health, uh, prevention of death or deterioration of health can be achieved. Even whenever the other disasters takes place, like say accidents or the bomb blast, those who are alive, they are taken, all the people are taken immediately to the nearby hospitals. Okay, so that first aid can be provided and as many lives we can save can be saved. Health facilities are provided so that they can be saved. Okay, so the number of death can be reduced. After, once after the first aid is provided, rehabilitation process is start. The treatment is given and then again government offers certain amount to the people who have suffered from the particular disasters. Now, hence it is important to know about the emergency measures or first aid practice to be followed. What is this? There are some basic principles for first aid. It is also known as life and rescuation ABC. Okay. Now, what this ABC stands for? A stands for airway, B stands for breathing, and C stands for circulation. Okay. Now, what is airway? See, whenever the people are drowned off, that is either because of flood or because of any kind of mistake, the people, they just get drawn off. If the person is suffering from breathing problem, if the victim is having difficulty in breathing, first thing that you have to do is the head should be held in the backward sloping position, as you can see in this picture. Okay, chin should be raised. Now, what happens when you raise the chin of any person or put the head in the backward position? The airways get open widely, because of which the person can take in the air in proper way. Okay, so this is called opening of the airways or opening of the air channel for the people who are suffering from the respiratory victims. Now, if the breathing stops, if the person has stopped breathing, then what is done? Artificial ventilation is done. For example, if you have heard, in the current situation, people are put on ventilators. Those whose oxygen level has gone down for more than 30, these people, or they have stopped breathing, before declaring them death, these people are put on the ventilators so that the oxygen or the breathing process can begin and the vitality of the internal organs can be maintained. Now, if in case the persons are droned off and they are removed from the water bodies, mouth respiration is done. Now, what is mouth respiration? Mouth to mouth breathing, as you can see in this picture, is given. You must have observed this in many of the uh, pictures also. Whenever anyone gets drawn off in the pool or in the water body, they are removed. If they have stopped breathing, mouth respiration is done. Okay, the air is blown so that the air, the whatever, if there is anything stuck in the airways, it gets open when you do mouth respiration and the person starts off breathing again. Now, next is CPR, that is cardiopulmonary respiration. Now, what is this? In this, there is a problem with the circulation. Okay, and the victim becomes unconscious. It becomes unconscious. In this case, what is done? Mouth to mouth respiration is done twice. Then heart should be pressed downward by pressing the chest with both the palm. As you can see here, the person is doing. Okay, so that if the heart has stopped for a while, anything is blocked, by the pressure that is exerted by this activity, it will start pumping back. Okay, this is one thing. When the person is in hospital and if the heartbeat gets struck or it is stopped, initially we have seen that you must have seen in the movies also, the shocks are given on the chest region so that the circulation start. If the circulation start, again the heartbeat will start and the person will come back to normal. Okay. Now, this is done almost for 15 minutes and it is repeated. It is repeated till the last hope of the person getting awake, the person comes back to the conscious. Okay. So this is the ABC of the first aid. Remember, I will repeat it again. What is A? A stand for airways, where if the airways are struck and the victim is having difficulty in breathing, what will you do? You will put his head backward in the sloping position or raise the chin upward so that the trachea in the throat region gets free and the air can pass and the person gets relief in breathing when you do this. Okay, as it is shown in this, raise the chin and put the head backward. If the person is suffering from breathing or the breathing has stopped, in that case mouth to mouth respiration is done, as you can see in this. If the person has become unconscious and for a while the heartbeat has stopped, the first thing that is done is mouth to mouth respiration is given, and then the to start the heart pumping, both the hands with both the hands on the chest region is pressed with the palms so that the pumping action starts again, as you can see in this GIF. This is known as cardiopulmonary respiration. Cardio, that is by this action, you start the pumping of heart and circulation. Pulmonary means by mouth and mouth respiration, you blow the air to free the air channel and the person starts breathing normal. This is repeated after every 15 minutes till the person comes to normal or he becomes conscious and starts breathing. Okay. I hope you understood the ABC. Now, the next situation is if any person or any individual is bleeding. See, whenever you are at home and you get a cut with knife, first thing you or your mother do is mother goes directly in the kitchen, takes the turmeric, put on the cut area and press it, right? Now, that is the purpose. Why? Turmeric is antiseptic. Similarly, when there are big wounds, what and there is heavy bleeding, the first thing that is needed to be done is the antiseptic is to be applied on a cloth, on the cotton cloth or the cotton piece, and that antiseptic applied cloth should be placed on the area where the wounds are seen, as you can see in this picture. Okay, where there is wound, where there is bleeding, the antiseptic cotton plug is applied on the area and it is pressed for certain time till the bleeding stops. Okay, we all know eight within 8 minutes or so, if the bleeding is heavy, the bleeding can be stopped by this activity. Okay, within 5 to 8 minutes it can be stopped and the person has to be taken to hospital so that proper treatment is given. But at the first aid level, this is what we have done, we have to do. Then if a person has got fracture or impact on the vertebrae, any damage to bones is caused. Now what you need to do in this case, see, you can see it in this picture. Okay, now it is a first aid when there are no things are available. So what you can see around is a piece of wood which is straight. It can be a rod, it can be a ruler. Okay, anything with that can support the fractured area, that has to be tied. It has to be tied around that area so that support is provided. and then the person has to be moved to the hospital for the proper treatment. So what first aid you have to give is, you have to see anything which can give support to the broken or the fractured area. That anything can be wooden rod, it can be batons, or it can be ruler. It has to be tied around the fractured area. If there is impact on back or the vertebral column, in that case the person has to be lie down. Okay, so should be kept immobile. They should not be moved on a firm stretcher, and they have to be taken to the hospitals. So that is what can be done. See, now in this picture only leg is shown. Same thing you can do with the hands also. Or if you have a dupatta or the towel, you can just fold the hand if in case hand has fracture, and wrap it around and tie it on the neck, so that the movement is stopped, it is at the rest position, and further damage to that broken part can be achieved, and the person has to be taken to the hospital. Now, what in case if there are burns? Okay, now many times you get burns when you're cooking something in the kitchen, or even in the accidental places also there are burns. Okay, now if the case is major, definitely they are moved to the hospitals. But in case of minor injuries, if there are small injuries, we don't move to hospitals immediately. So the best thing is, hold your hand under water for at least 10 minutes. For at least 10 minutes, hold your hand under cold water. Okay, so that the burning sensation goes off, and after that you can apply Bernol or the other creams which will reduce the burning sensation of the skin or that particular area. So clean and cold water for 10 minutes. That is to be done in burn cases. If the burns are major, say for if there are blasts, if there is like many times cylinder blast or stove blast take place, which the because of which the person gets like 80% of the body is burned or 40% of the body is burned. In that case you cannot hold the person under the water, so you have to just carry the person to the hospital. Now the next principle is rice remedy. Rice remedy, when is this given? For the injuries like sprains, twisting, and contusion. Now what is this? Say while running, uh your leg get turned. Okay, or while you're walking fast, your leg get turned. Okay, and you get edema or the sujan in the legs or hands. In that case, rice treatment is given. Now what is rice treatment? R stands for rest, which says allow the victim to sit in a relaxed position. Allow the victim to rest. If ice is available, I stand for ice. Apply an ice pack to the injured part. Wherever there is twisting has occurred or sprain or contusion has occurred, it has to be applied with the ice pack. Okay, so that the nerves in that area gets little relaxation. Even the muscle gets little relaxation, and the feeling of pain is lowered when you apply ice pack in that injured area. Then compression. What is compression? After applying the ice pack, a gentle massage is given in the affected area. Very gentle. It has not to be done very hardly. Gentle massage is given. And then the affected part has to be elevated. E for elevated. Now, what is elevation? You have to raise it up. if you have seen it in hospitals or even in the movies, they show whenever there is a fractured person, the legs are tied, they are plastered, and they are tied in the upward position. They are hanged on the upward position. Or you can just elevate by keeping some pillows below the leg or below the hand. So in that way, elevations can be done. So remember, when there are injuries like sprain, twisting, or contusion, in this case, RICE remedy is given, in which R stand for rest, the victim is set in relaxed position, I stand for ice, applying the ice pack to the injured part, C stand for compression, that is gentle massage given to the affected area, and E stand for elevation, where the affected body part is elevated from the flat level. Then for rescuing, there are different methods how you can carry a person either to the safer place or to the home or to the hospitals. Now, in this case, first is the cradle method. What is cradle method? This is the cradle method. The way cradle means jhula. Okay. You carry the person in both your hands. Now, when is this done? If the person is underweight or the person are small children. In this case, cradle method is applied to carry the person. Say, whenever anyone is unconscious, we carry them to the hospital or we carry them to the bed where they can rest. If the persons are big, if the persons are heavy, little bit heavy, and but you single person can carry them, then carrying piggyback, this method is applied. Okay, carrying piggyback, you take them on their back, on your back, to the safer area or to the hospital. Now this can be done when there are strains or twisting, or the person is energyless, they cannot walk. In that condition, you can just put them on your back and take to the safer place. If the leg is affected, say if one leg is injured, in that case, human crunch method is applied. Okay, so that the affected leg can be given little support. Okay, as you can see in this case, you have to put the hand of the victim on your shoulder. Okay, one of it, hold him from the back with your hand and help the person to walk to the relaxing position. This is known as human crunch method. Putting the hand of the victim on the soldier, on your shoulder, supporting with your one hand on its back, and helping the person to walk to the resting position. This is known as human crunch method. Next is pulling or lifting method. When there are two or more people, this method can be used. Okay, if the person is unconscious, 2 to 3 people lift them or pull them through the short distance to the resting position and call the doctor to check. Next is carrying on 4-hand chair. Now, what is 4-hand chair? See, when the person is feeling very energy less, there is no stretcher available, but the person is conscious. Support is created on for the waist, and how it is done, you have to hold your hand in this way. 2 people holding their hand against each other and creating a chair-like position, and then allowing the victim to sit on the chair, put his hands on the doctor and carry him to the resting position or to the hospitals. So this is called as carrying on four-hand chair. Okay. Similarly, there is two-hand chair. Now in this two-hand chair, vest cannot be, support to the vest cannot be provided. Okay. In this case, that is when person is not able to hold you. Okay, they are not able to put their hands on your shoulder to support. In this case, two-hand chair is created. In this way, the hands are held and the person is allowed to sit and it is carried to the safer or the resting position. Then this is the method used by fire brigade. They just carry the people on the soldier for giving them the treatment. If the stretchers are available, people are carried on the stretchers. We immediately call on the ambulance number and the ambulance is called. In that case, stretcher is available. But in case the stretchers are not available, in that situation, what can be done? Two strong sticks or two bamboos are connected to each other with the help of blankets, and a temporary stretcher is generated and the people are moved. Now this situation, this is applied when more people are affected. That many stretchers cannot be made available at a particular time. In that situation, this type of stretchers are made temporarily using the blankets and the bamboos, and the person is carried to the resting position or to the hospitals. Now, there are other emergencies like say flood. Okay, all the time there won't be boats available with you. Okay, if boats are available, it is good. You will carry the person on the boat. But in case there are no boats, how can the people move to the safer position? So for emergency, wooden boards, wooden planks, if are available, bamboo floats can be generated by tying bamboos to each other. Bamboo floats can be generated, or rubber tubes or tires. Rubber tubes from the tires can be blowed in, as you can see in this picture. Okay, the rubber tube is carrying the people to the safer position. That can be used as the boat, and the people can be moved to the safer position. So this is when the things are not available. You can think out of box, use your brain, create the things to save the people. Then you have when there are fire situations. Best is the available fire extinguishers. If the fire extinguisher is available in the nearby vicinity, that can be utilized to blow on the air. Okay, we all know water is the one thing that can be used to put off the fire. Okay, nowadays fire extinguishers are installed in many areas. See, if we talk about schools, if we talk about hospitals, in large buildings, fire extinguishers are available. When fire extinguishers are not available, in that cases, fire can be put off with the help of water. Again, if the fire is due to electric current, if the electric sockets get burned, in that case, you are not supposed to put on water. You either you use the fire extinguisher, and most important thing what you have to done is put off the power from the main switch. Put off the main switch from where the electric supply is done, or to put off the fire, you can use dry sand or dry soil. Remember, in case of the fire which is due to electric current, never apply water and on that. Okay, it is very dangerous. And even if the fire is to the oil, like boiling oil, you should never put oil on that, water on that also, because the oil will sprinkle up if you put water on the oil. Okay, so in that conditions, you have to directly use either fire extinguisher or the soil. Now, there is one activity for you all. You have to visit the nearby fire department and collect the detailed information about fire safety. What can be done if there are any emergency situations related to fire? So this is the activity for you. Just visit the fire department nearby you or which is there in your city and collect the information regarding the fire safety from the fire department. So thank you all for quietly listening to the lecture. I hope you all have understood the disaster management, what all things that you can do to rescue the people or rescue the victims that are caught in particular disasters. If in case you have any doubt, we can just discuss it. In our next class, we shall discuss about the exercises or the question answers of this chapter. Ma'am, I have completed my lecture.
Yes, thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, बच्चों.